Anyway, beautiful young people. I felt so good over there. You have to read. Last year I had to read something in between. This year was.
I think it was Chaz.
Chibad was good. Mama's good. My wife also.
Very nice, yeah.
Where is from?
He's from London, but I mean, he's living here for many years. The English accent is not so strong. You hear a little bit
Where he
the
live here?
accent, huh?
Where he live here? Tornazzo.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Okay. So he's a very musical family. His they were like forget from where from the they were from Brisk. The family was from Brisk, and then Shlomo Kalbach was Makar his father a lot. Shlomo Kalbach brought his father to Lubavitch.
Who are you talking about?
I'm talking about a Bal Tefillah, Shabbos. We had Rosh Hashanah Bal Tefillah, Yom Kippur we had a Bal Tefillah.
Right.
So
He
they
was
were
the same Rosh Hashanah?
yeah. So
Very good.
Shlomo
Very
Kalbach
nice.
brought his father composed a lot of popular songs that are today.
So how come you didn't sing one song for Shlomo Kalba? One.
Avram Fried. He
Chabad
did.
doesn't sing.
He did Ein L'Yov from Avram Fried.
Yeah.
He did a few popular contemporary songs.
Yeah. Ashiven.
He did. He did. We did like
Because Chabad usually doesn't put
I told him to put in what he likes. You should put the basic
He did
nusach.
beautiful. Beautiful.
The basic nusach was like Chabad, but put in songs.
Steering wheel usually goes straight. It doesn't go this way, that way.
No, but he put in a lot of.
People
It's
enjoy
very
it.
difficult for us to.
No. We put in a lot of songs this year that we put in from old composers. Different nice tunes, but the general was Chabad Nusach.
His voice was just right.
Yeah.
There's a
Give you
hall.
cheshek to
There's
listen.
a hall. It was
very nice.
Second and third.
Thank you, Rabbi. Okay, very good.
Behind the table.
Okay,
Behind the table.
I was getting ready for the shir tonight, and the truth is, Shkofa Prot is the last. We were going to finish tonight the first Pedic in Masach Shabbos, and has mentioned a little bit about Arov, Sachvana, Achtus, but then I just didn't feel it. I felt, that tonight we should be learning something about Sukkot. It just didn't feel Shaka. We'll be Messiah, Mitzvah Hashem, the first Pedic, the Tuesday right after some Chastoida.
Usually it's at 40 yom before the Chag. It's 4 yom before the Chag.
It's Arba Yomim Kodem HaChag. I didn't feel I felt that we could finish off the Gemara, the Pedic after. There's something I wanted to talk about tonight. Sikha that years I've been waiting to get once the chance to learn the Sikha. And that is why Chabad doesn't sleep in the Sukkah. Before we start, needless to say that someone that has the minhag to sleep in the Sukkah, I'm not coming tonight, chas v'sholem, v'chas v'sholem, v'chas v'sholem, to convince anyone to not sleep in the Sukkah. If it's your minhag to sleep in the Sukkah, definitely you should sleep in the Sukkah. I'm just reviewing the Rebbe Sikha on it. The Rebbe once gave a Sikha on it many years ago.
Which volume?
It's in volume 29. And hopefully my daughter will bring some copies soon. It's just that computer was a little sticking up, Murphy's Law, before I was trying to print it out. So my wife is helping me out. Okay. Anyway, this was a Sikha that the Rebbe said many, many, many years ago. The truth is, I have learned from experience, I've learned the hard way, that if someone asks me why Chabad doesn't sleep in the Sukkah, not to give the right answer. I've learned it the hard way, not to give the Lomdish answer. Unfortunately, I've learned it. If you start giving the Lomdish answer,
It's in
Chelak Chavtes. I'll give you a copy soon of it. You take it home with you. I've learned the hard way that if you start giving the pilpul this answer, that answer, you have to realize who is asking and why they're asking before you answer. But this is for us to really understand what's talking.
Wasn't there a famous thing?
It was a video by dollars.
Right. A half hour, the Rebbe screaming in it. Why couldn't the Rebbe just give him the answer that he already once explained so well? Why didn't he tell him?
To get stuff off his chest.
Why didn't he tell him, because the
It's
person
like building up to
because the person didn't ask in order. I don't know. In the Rebbe's mind,
come
this
on,
was right. Exactly.
I'd say if it didn't work out well from that man who asked questions
Yeah.
earlier, I heard, yeah.
So the Rebbe didn't answer him. He didn't answer. But the Rebbe did once give an explanation for it. So I want to review it and maybe a few details within the footnotes over Sukkot. I want to go into a few of the Nakudas, because it's a nuanced explanation. It's not just this is it. This is the explanation. There's a little bit of a nuances to it, and so I want to explain. When I came to the Bronx many years ago, 25 years ago, there was only one sukkah in the whole Bronx, in the whole Cobb City. The shul used to make a sukkah. It's like weird. It all makes a sukkah. And the first night of sukkahs,
build big apartment buildings. They don't have.
all in America, people didn't build sukkahs. You know that? It was a terrible thing. So I heard once, Alim Tzchus, I don't know if it's true or not, Rabbi Heller, the Moyle. So he said that 150 years ago in America, they said that Hamitztad is potem in a sukkah. But if you're going to build a sukkah in the middle of New York City, everyone's going to laugh at you. So the people are mitzvah. So in the synagogue, everyone knows weird things are happening in the house of worship. The synagogue, technisch kein shaylos, that why, what they're building in the courtyard of the synagogue. Lahavdil Aleph Avdolas, they also have, some things that go on. Yeah. So technisch kein shaylos. But Azoi, 150 years ago, to build a sukkah in New York City, it was mitzvah Geshem. People were embarrassed. They were mitzvah. So mitzvah is bottom in a sukkah. Problem is, the first night of sukkahs, you have to eat a kazais or a kabetza in the sukkah. You have to eat. So the shuls used to make like a kiddush. Kiddush. They used to make kiddush. You don't know. You come from Baku. In Baku, the Jews, the sukkah, they were not embarrassed. They made nice sukkahs. And I'm sure they used to build beautiful sukkahs. Every Jew built a sukkah. Huh?
Yeah.
But here in America, years ago, people didn't build sukkahs. The shuls used to build a sukkah. And the first night of sukkahs, they used to have what's
Community sukkah.
Yeah, a kiddush. And they used to have wine, and everyone used to have a piece of cake. And it was good because at least they ate a kazais or a kabetz in the sukkah. When I came to my shul, I made that there should be, besides the cake, they should give everyone a challah. There's a shayla pas kisnin, is it yemekayim, is it pas, is it not pas? A little piece of cake. I don't know if it's if you're yoitza, not yoitza. So I made that they should have everyone should wash, and everyone would wash, and they would have a roll. And that's for sure no shayla. There were yoitza.
No kugel.
No, the shuls, the kiddushes in the shuls, the young Israels, 25 years ago, 50 years ago, they didn't have hot kugel or yankel's chon. So it was a very different. The kiddushim were very different kiddushim. But at least that they had, a lot of shuls used to provide that. They used to have the first night of sukkahs. They used to have a kiddush. And they've eaten a pesakazais cake in the sukkah, and the rest of the sukkahs are mitzvah. But that's a little bit of a funny mitzvah. It's a little bit of a strange mitzvah.
These big buildings want to go 20 stories.
True, but in America, I'm talking about 100 years ago. It was not such. But it's given Yidden, it's given Rabbonim, they wrote Child's Truths. So that's what I heard. Someone said that they were matir. It sounds like a joke to us. I don't know if it's true or not. Sure. Okay, let's talk about the story with the Minik Chabad.
Not to sleep in the sukkah.
Not to sleep in the sukkah. Okay, again, those that have the minik to sleep in the sukkah, minik avisainu b'yadenu, definitely that's the din of Shulchan Aruch, that's the pashta din. Question is that the question is something else. The Rebbe said that the father-in-law was so mahader in the sukkah that he wouldn't even drink a little bit of water mechutz l'sukkah, and even if it was difficult, and even b'seif yama when he was not so healthy, he would mitzvah himself to eat in the sukkah and not even drink a mashu outside the sukkah, and even when it rained, last year, 2 years ago, we went through from the Minchas Elazar. How come the Talmidei Baal Shem Tov used to sit in the sukkah even with the rain? I went into a whole arichas about
It's
it
not
once.
mitzvah.
It's the unbelievable mitzvah. It's a Pashta Gemara, it's a Mishnah, throwing water back in his face. It sounds to the extent that it sounds like many Talmidei Baal Shem Tov not only ate in the sukkah when it rained, but they also made the brocha leisha basukah, which is apela al gabe pile ploim, not stam apela.
But they ate up leshe basuka under rain.
Yeah,
Tachat geshem.
yeah, that's what it sounds like from a lot of the Chassidim. It sounds that way. So, which is a mamish double pella. So how come the Frierdiker Rebbe, who was so mahadir in the sukkah, so how come he didn't sleep? It's something that Rebbe said it's not like Bapoil, he didn't sleep in the sukkah. Even in America. In Russia, no, mate.
Yeah.
In New York. Frierdiker Rebbe had a very comfortable sukkah.
1949.
It's you can go. They don't build it up now, but in the 770 in the side, you see where there is a sukkah now. There's a porch, a high, like from the go out from the second floor, and that's where the Frierdiker Rebbe had his sukkah. And he lived there for 10 years. New York, it was a very nice sukkah, very open right to his private study. It was a very comfortable sukkah, so it wouldn't be that difficult for him to sleep there. So Elamai, he didn't sleep there. Obviously, so there's an akuda to it. And the Frierdiker Rebbe said,
Rabbi slept in a bed.
huh?
Rabbi did go to bed in the
He slept in a bed and he didn't sleep in the sukkah, which is a pella, which is a very big pella. He did sleep in a bed and he did not sleep in the sukkah. And his bed was not that far. It's a small apartment. You can go upstairs today. They have sometimes you can go up there. They allow people to come. It's like a tiny apartment. So he had this his cheder small, his little bedroom, and then
It was beautiful.
the office is beautiful. It's not so big. It's a nice room.
I was there for Minyanim on sometimes on Yom Kippur or in Rosh Hashanah.
In the front, in the Frierdiker Rebbe's room,
Yeah.
right? And then on the side there's a porch. I mean, the bedroom and the porch are right.
Where the sukkah was.
Right, that's where the sukkah was. So it's not that far. He for the same price he could have slept in the sukkah. Mamish make no difference. It's safe.
By halacha, one has to sleep in this.
Yeah, one has to sleep in the sukkah unless
It's raining.
it's mitzvah.
That's probably
It's giving him pain.
Yeah.
Like if it's very cold or if it's raining. So the Frierdiker Rebbe said that there is a saying from his father that got from the Mittler Rebbe, that he said, "Vikem and shlofen in makifim de bina." How is it possible to sleep in the makifim de bina?
What's makif in the boom?
What's makifim de bina? There is some type of unbelievable holy light that comes from bina, and the sukkah is connected with the bina, and that when a person sits in the sukkah and does he's engulfed, he's surrounded with this godly light called makifim de bina.
It's good.
It's very good. So he couldn't fall asleep. He can't fall asleep. He can't fall asleep.
Too much light.
He can't fall asleep. Impossible. Can't fall asleep.
So Bill can't fall asleep.
So
Yeah.
the Rebbe said that we find in the pasuk that the pasuk says by Yaakov Avinu that he said, "Ochen yesh Hashem b'makom hazev anochi lo yodaiti." Rashi says, "Shim yodaiti lo yoshanti b'makom kodesh kazeh." So
Heavy light.
So the Rebbe said, there was a lot of tzaddikim that knew Api Kabbalah, what's the of the sukkah. So why? So the Rebbe said on those tzaddikim is not a pella, because their sleeping was not a regular type of sleeping. There was a different sleeping by them. They didn't sleep like we spoke in the summer story of the Arizal, that he told his Talmud that whatever he learned in Gan Eden Torah that would take 60 to 80 years to explain in the Shokala. So their sleeping was a different type of sleeping. But the Mittler Rebbe, which his idea was Bina, Agav his whole idea was Bina. His whole thing was to bring down Torah in a way of Bina, Taka, to understand it. So it wouldn't be a kunst to sleep a kilu, a holy type of sleep. He wanted that the sleeping should be a emes sleep, mitzad guf, and that wasn't shaykh for him. He couldn't fall asleep when he felt the kedusha of the makif and the bina. He couldn't sleep. So Apidin, the poshta pshat is that the tsar is that any tsar that a person has. We'll talk about it in Mitzvah maybe Sukkah a little more, but it doesn't matter what kind of tsar. Any tsar that a person has, so it has to be Teshu Kain Taduru. What would be if it was your own house? If it rains, so if in your own house there was so much rain coming through your roof that you would just leave, you'd say, I'm gonna go knock on my friend's house, or I'm gonna book myself a room in a hotel for tonight. Tomorrow I'll get a couple of amigos to help me fix
or if it's 25 degrees out.
whatever it is. Whatever at any point, that's the din is that you would leave your house. You would book yourself a hotel room. You'd go to your neighbor's house, to your friend. At any point that you would move out of your own house, that's when you move out of the sukkah. Doesn't matter which kind of tzad. And the bottom line is, if it's your own house and it's so uncomfortable, it's so cold, it's so miserable, it's so damp, it's so hot, there's so many flies, there's so many mosquitoes, was soll noch nicht sein? It's so cold. If in your own house, you'd say, okay, that's it. Tell your wife, okay, we're going to a hotel. We're just going to Motel 6 for tonight. Tomorrow we'll figure out how to fix the problems. So the same thing is with the sukkah.
Rabbi, but maybe 20 years ago, I saw a guy that worked together in the army. Not religious at all, but I saw him maybe 30 years I didn't see him. Saw him here in Jay, I think. He has 3 kids. Hi, how are you? Da, da, da. I said, next week is Sukkot. I want you to come 1 meal by me. He said, no, I can't. It's holiday. I said, Chol HaMoed. So I gave him a day. He said, I can't also do this. I said, why? Because there's a Super Bowl. And I want to watch the Super Bowl. So I borrow from someone TV, I bring it to the sukkah, and you had the whole meal. And I give him the love and it's all. And he came with 3 kids and wife. Super Bowl, I don't know. I don't watch.
You gave him a free Super Bowl party.
Yeah. I mean, he was there by himself. And the kids, and my kids, and my wife. We opened table. He had such a beauty. He said, I wish I would know about religion before. But then no contact. But that, I don't know, Hashem gave me I got your TV. I don't know from where. I don't have TV. I got it from someone TV. You put it in the sukkah, fix it nice. And he enjoyed the food, and I gave him love, and it's all. He says, Shema, not religious at all. In the army, he wasn't religious too, but I didn't see him for 30 years. We met right here in Jay.
We'll talk about it in a minute. So it's a good question. The Alter Rebbe holds, well, this is a little bit of part of the...
What, you love it all?
No, that if a person, according to the Alter Rebbe, if a person is going to eat in the sukkah, the bracha of the food makes him potter from anything else. If a person is going to eat something which is aray, they don't make a bracha. But if a person is going to go into the shul, to the sukkah l'tayel, but he's not going to eat, he makes a bracha loisha basukah. So I think probably even if you didn't serve him food, I'm saying if theoretically if you didn't serve him food and he just watched the Super Bowl, they probably already could make the bracha leisha basukah just to watch the Super Bowl. If a person goes to the sukkah
and his team won, so I told him, you know why they won? Because you came to the sukkah and you make a bracha and it's all. Start laughing. That's unbelievable.
So okay. So
sorry.
Okay. So that's what that's number one. Mitzvah, person with mitzvah. So the tzaddik who says that he's feeling makif from the bina can't sleep, impossible to sleep, so he doesn't have to sleep. Shaila is something else. Shaila is that it's hard to imagine that there should be a mitzvah, and according to the simple pshat of the mitzvah, the nigla and the nister should be a contradiction. That the nigla part says you should sleep in the sukkah, and someone that understands the nister, the secret of the sukkah, is engulfed by such a holiness that he can't fall asleep. It doesn't make sense. If the mitzvah is to sleep in the sukkah, it's an oxymoron. It doesn't make sense that Hashem says, I want you to sleep in the sukkah. And then if you really, really are a tzaddik and you know the secret of the sukkah, you're engulfed with the holiness of Makif in the Bina, you can't fall asleep, you're mitztahed. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
Too much for us.
It doesn't make sense. It must be, Dr. Rebbe, that the sleeping in the sukkah is not an integral part of the sukkah. The shaila is why? Why should you say it's not an integral part? So there's a few pshat. First, there's a Rogat. He has a beautiful chiddush. Our minig is based on the Toisus. So we, I think, once learned this Toisus in Bracha Tafyud Beis. It's been a tam of Toisus. Who says that we make the bracha leisha basukah only when we eat. We make the bracha leisha basukah only when we eat. Why? The Rogat brings a chiddush based on his Lashon Rambam. That the Rambam, when he brings about this mitzvah sukkah, he says to eat in the sukkah and to drink in the sukkah, and he doesn't say about sleeping when he talks about the mitzvah of bed. So he has a chiddush that
Rambam holds even if you just walk in.
Yeah, but the Rogat holds that the Rambam holds that there's the kiyum mitzvah sukkah is one thing, and then there is an isur to sleep. If a person knows how to not sleep for 7 days and 7 nights, so okay, this is fine. He never did the isur. He never did the isur. There was no isur. By the way, when we come to sleeping in the sukkah, there's a chiddush, because when the Gemara says that a person can eat arei chutz l'sukkah, but you can't sleep arei chutz l'sukkah. Because we say there's such a thing of a person eating a little bit, it's arei, it's nothing. It's just, but the sleeping, there's no such thing as sleeping arei. It doesn't exist. Some people, 2-3 minutes of sleep is all they need to recharge their batteries for right now. So there's no such thing as shina that's arei chutz l'sukkah. So on the one hand, the sleeping is a we're very strict about sleeping. The only exception when it comes to sleeping out of the sukkah is mitzvah. Eating could be many other exceptions, including to eat arei. So the Rogat holds that because the Rambam, when he starts off the mitzvah, he doesn't mention. He says oichel shaisa matayel, oichel shaisa matayel. So you eat, you drink, or you watch the Super Bowl, you're Makayim the mitzvah. But he holds, according to the Rambam, that sleeping is not a chelik of the mitzvah of sukkah. If you don't, no, that's what. Oh no. That
you're gonna eat. You make bracha.
Some people say that, but that's not.
Get cold in the house. You're not sleeping.
I didn't think that way. No, but it's also that's his diuk is in the Lashon Rambam. That when the Rambam says the mitzvah sukkah, he says oichel b'shoisel matayil b'sukkah. He doesn't say anything else.
Yes,
Oichel b'shoisel matayil. So he said sleeping is not a chelik of the mitzvah. You're not allowed to sleep chutz l'sukkah. It's also, but it's not a chelik in the kiyum of the mitzvah sukkah. Therefore, the bracha is only in the oichel b'shoisel and the matayil, according to the Rambam.
It's like a loisa.
Yeah, it's like the kiyum mitzvah is only through eating, drinking, and matayil. So say a person's mitzvah. So say a person.
I don't eat for 7 days.
So you don't eat. So you're not mekayim. You are not mekayim the mitzvah of sukkah. So maybe. So this is a good question. This is you asked a good question. Say a person on Chol Hamoed. So he likes to eat fruit, orange juice. Yeah, he was So but he's never being mekayim the mitzvah of sukkah. He's never mekayim the mitzvah of sukkah. He was not being mekayim. Maybe if you watch the Super Bowl, and now he's being mekayim the mitzvah of sukkah. But he's not being mekayim. That's why there is a.
If I don't sleep, I'm not. Whatever. If I don't sleep, I don't sleep.
I don't sleep. I don't sleep. That's what the Rogat holds. It's taka to think about this. People that can't ever eat anything. Like not even they're not eating gluten. They're not mekayim mitzvah sukkah. If you hold that matayil is a mitzvah, I understand. But if you hold that shina is only it's also if you're going to sleep, it's also to sleep outside the sukkah. But the mitzvah, the kiyum mitzvah sukkah, according to the Rambam, is only by eating, by drinking, and by being metayel in the sukkah.
What's metayel? You go in and out. It's called metayel.
No, metayel probably means like watching the Super Bowl. That's why
it
I
has
like.
to be something stronger.
It's something that you have a conversation with your friends. Okay, let's go in the sukkah. Let's talk it through in the sukkah.
I get you forever you need.
So you should make a bracha. That's not his friends should make a bracha.
Yeah, according to Rambam.
Yeah. He made it.
But shina is it's also, but it's not the kiyum mitzvah. So therefore, if a person is mitzvah from eating gluten, or today there are people that are not mitzvah really from eating gluten. There's some shagas and cup that they're not eating gluten. So okay, listen, can't blame you, but you're not being mikayim mitzvah sukkah. You did nothing wrong, but you're not. If you want to say, "I want Makayim Mitzvah Sukkah," no, you're not Makayim Mitzvah Sukkah. But if a person knows how to stay up for 7 days and 7 nights and not sleep, as long as you didn't sleep outside the sukkah, even a sleeping avada, you did nothing wrong.
Maybe the halacha of Rambam is going on the Mishnah. It says you have to have a suda.
And the Rambam is very clear. And he starts off the halacha, and then he says it's also you can argue on the Rogachover, but that's the Rebbe says the problem with
child mean that they're using the sukkah as your regular place or at your house?
I don't know what matal. Matal means to
What does it literally mean?
take a walk.
Oh,
Take a
you're
walk.
not taking a walk. If you go in the sukkah, you're not taking a walk.
Matal means to relax, to chillax. That's
what I'm saying.
That's what
It
matal.
sounds like something that you would normally do
Right.
at your house.
Right.
You know, if you have
Right.
to,
Right.
that's what you do.
You can exercise in the sukkah, walk back and forth 20 times.
If that's what you like to do.
It's up to you.
If that's what you like to do.
In the sukkah itself.
Yeah.
You're not talking about the walk.
So now, if you hold like that Rogachover, that's nice. Problem is that the Mechaber brings the Lashon of the Rambam, and the Rambam adds one word. The Mechaber says Oichel b'shoisel matal. The Rambam adds one word V'yoshen, and the Tur also adds one word V'yoshen. The Alter Rebbe in Shulchan Aruch also adds one word V'yoshen. In other words, could be that's taka the way the Rambam holds. The Rambam holds the kiyum mitzvah sukkah is only through eating and drinking, matayil. But Lepoil, the Tur, and the Ramah, and the Alter Rebbe, many other poskim hold that Shina is part of the mitzvah of sukkah. Kiyum mitzvah sukkah. See, the Rogachover's answer is very nice if you hold like the Rambam. But there's many other poskim clearly bring in Hilchas Sukkah that the mitzvah is achila, shsiya, shina. Shina is a chelik of the mitzvahs. You can't answer that according to them. So the Rebbe gives another answer, and that is there's a Gemara. The Gemara says that the Tanoim sets and the Gemara Sukkah that shayinu smeichem b'simchas b'shesheven lo itamnu tam shena dahava menamni katve dadod. We never slept. We were dancing. We used to fall asleep a little bit, a few minutes, and that's it. It's mashma that menamne b'katve dadodi there wasn't in a sukkah. That's just the way it's mashma from the Gemara.
No, I see the mitzvah.
Oh, so l'choyde, thank you so much. So l'choyde, here, we could learn it inside. Isis mechakimus.
I listen. You know what? I'll read this.
Okay.
One for you.
Yossi, you wanna? Here, give it to you. Okay. Let's look on page 215.
What is your paper?
Wenn man das verstehen, behegnet das Chazal der Zählung, wenn geht zum Beise Sheva. Shinu smeichen mit zum Beise Sheva. Lo tam no tam shina da have menamne mi akat for da dodi. We used to sleep on each other's shoulders. And them is moving as the tag from Simchel B'Sheva the Noim nicht geschlafen besuche. Turn the page, weil der Pirush in menamne mi akat for da dodi is at the nimne we given nicht in Sukkah. Nor in the Mokkam Azor wo man hat alle zusammengebracht zum Beschwerde. It's mashma that they were busy in the Simchas Beis Sheva and they didn't sleep in the Sukkah. So l'choyde is a bisschen schwer. Choyde is nicht glattig. Afalpi is a nimnum chutz l'Sukkah sicher gewinn alpi Hitler. It must have been that it's mutter. The Tanoim never It's not shayach that Tanoim did something which is also right. And if the Mishnah is telling you something they didn't do something also. So look in the order 46. The Tashbit Shamashma Shatama Bnei the Shinas Arir also Rak the Rabbona. The order 46. That it's also only the Rabbona. Order 40. I'm sorry. Yeah, 46. Order 46. You see order 46? Yeah. So Betashbis Shamashma Shatamu Mipnei the Shinas Ari also Rak Midrabona. And in Take, the Gilyan Ashas, Mesech Sukkah Daf Chavav Medal Hikshalov Shein Zekfi Alocha. We paskin the Chinas Ari is also not as Exeda. In other words, we paskin the Chinas Ari is also not because, like I said before, Chinas Ari is not also because, oh, maybe you can end up sleeping more. We paskin the Chinas Ari is also because some people, for them, 3 minutes of sleep does the trick. Some people, they call it today a power sleep. 3-4 minutes, they sleep and already did the trick and they feel refreshed. So therefore, you can't say that that's the reason. The pashtus here, shlamata mishum doisik mitzvah potam and mitzvah. Yeah, someone was very mechavan. You just said before the status. But Rashi, turim sham, afilu b'shas chaniyosam, whatever, that it's mashma that would be a very simple way to answer.
They didn't put up a public sukkah on those.
Oh, so shaila is if we could ask that shaila. Could ask that shaila.
I have a question. What the Torah said, Basukot teshvu shivat yamim. They don't say tishnu. Teshvu, it's sitting down and eat. So why all these?
Teshu came to do it.
Teshu came to do that. Teshu means you should like
after that.
Like you live in your house. Like you live in your house. Right.
I think
it's lechoyre nidglatik. If something is lechoyre not so clear. Alpha is the nimnum chutz l'sukkah zich given api heter atoyre. For sure, sleeping outside the sukkah, they must have had a heter, like we just said, maybe because oisig a mitzvah potam and a mitzvah is a border as the Tanoim zich mishtadel when some times a mitzvah yeshiva b'sukkah kol shuva b'sukkah shay teishvu. Sivas yamim teishvu means came to duru. That you have to live here like you live in your house. So what's going on? The Geres Tehidu, Baloshna Mishnah, Kol Shiva Sayamim, Odem Oisis Sukkah Sekeva. You're supposed to make your house A'ara. You're supposed to make your Sukkah Keva. You're reading a magazine in the Sukkah, you're having a coffee, it's in the Sukkah, you're having a conversation, it's in the Sukkah, you're sleeping in the Sukkah. According to those Rishonim, and the Alter Rebbe Paskins this way, and the Seder for Chagigas Chagas Sukkahs Beifen, how could it be that they didn't sleep in the Sukkah? Look at number 50. There is a shaklavataria that's brought starting from the Chuvas of Haigoin. They have a whole shaklavataria that for some reason they didn't think the Goinim that there would have been Sukkahs in the Harabayas. But there had a shaklavataria that maybe outside the Harabayas there would have been Sukkahs. There's a whole shaklavataria. Where did the Goinim eat on Sukkahs? Because their eating was not Are. So it's all part of that shaklavataria. If there was a sukkah close to the Harabais, it wouldn't be hard to go in there. That they in the morning they went the Tanoim for sure ate in the sukkah. And it's when it says like they were dancing all night, and in the morning they used to daven, and then they went right away to eat. And they went to eat. And where did they eat? In the moon? They ate in the sukkah. The Tanoim, the Bakiva, the Tarfan. They ate in the sukkah. So why couldn't they sleep in the sukkah? As it's felt in the shleimus from the sukkah, warum nit ika yeshivas besukkah was this koil achile shtia v'shina. The Fungedrungen from this we see as a feel of him is Yoshen. Api heter chutz l'sukkah kemen oiften l'chol adeyes oich lefi psak ad merezokim based on these Rishonim mitzvahs yeshiva b'sukkah kol shina b'sukkah the kiyum mitzvahs b'sukkah teishu b'shlemusa medehide vid tanoim amakayim given a mitzvah. It's not doesn't make sense that the Tanoim were not Mekayim mitzvah sukkah. If they were not sleeping in the sukkah, they were not Mekayim the mitzvah sukkah. B'shloim des Bora B'zeh, das was the mitzvah yeshiva b'sukkah is koil inyan ashina is nita befeirush in them as mitzvah sukkah leit aroif avazundre chiyuv p'shina b'sukkah. It's not that the Torah said, I want you to eat in the sukkah, I want you to drink in the sukkah, and I want you to sleep in the sukkah. Was demol what is it kommen, as wenn einer schläft nicht in der sukkah, meise tam, and viele zu dem was Torah patet him p'shina b'sukkah, felt the poil by him the kiyam mitzvahs yeshiva b'sukkah kadaboy. If that would be the case, if the Torah says, I want you to sleep in it, there's a saying that the Gemara says, oinus rachmana kfater, command abde lo yamrina. If a person's oinus, he can't do certain mitzvah. It's pater. He can't. What can he do? Can't jump over the moon. But we don't say it's as if he did it. It's pater. He's pater again. But so if we would say that the Torah says that a person must sleep in the sukkah, and he had an issue, he didn't have a sukkah, he was oinus, he was oisig b'mitzvah, potam and a mitzvah, whatever it is, but Lapoil, he didn't do the mitzvah. Like we said before, like if we'd say that the Torah said you have to eat in the sukkah, and he is gluten-free, this free, shmi, he drinks orange juice and apple juice. Okay, you're a nice man, you're not Mekayim mitzvah yeshiva b'sukkah. You're not going to go to Gehenna for this. You're not going to get Malchus for this. But anyway, it's a mitzvah, whatever. You're not going to have to bring a korban oila for this to be machaper. Well, you didn't do the mitzvah yeshiva b'sukkah. Your dietitian told you can't eat. You only can eat orange juice. Okay. What can we do? Well, we can't say you did the mitzvah yeshiva b'sukkah. You didn't. So if the Torah said you have to sleep, we would say the same thing. Notice it's below the prat the chiv kluli. Teishu came to do it. The chiva Torah is besukas teishu shivas yamim. Adav zayin yeshiva akova. The lashon yeshiva means akova in sukkah akeva. Nor azoi vikviyas yeshiva funam adam es verbunden mit dem Mokem, wo tut sein in einem mikre machil shtie. Verschiedene dribes der chiv fun besukas teishu koil biker od die drei yanim. Bald das dikish kiviyas yeshivas shlodem wird bestimmt nicht in Mokem line, nor in Mokem achila davke. Wie the Tzefnas Paner bring the raya from Hilchas Eidevin, that when you want to make an Eidev, that we say the Ikar Adida is Mokum Pita, that if you send someone an extra 2,000 amal your bread, you sing as if you live there. And the Ribe is the Drei Yonah Machila Shtei V'Shina Gufa der Ikar Inyan Fun Yeshiva B'Sukkah V'Buna Met Achila. With the Alter Rebbe Zog B'Feidish Achila Hu Ikar Mitzvah Yeshiva B'Sukkah Chotcha the Mitzvah Koilech Shina Can iskelil, my time macht man die brocha lachila besuke davke. Und die brocha lachila pate, stie, veshine, vetiol, weil sie sind nimshochim and itpolim lachila. In other words, a different pshat. Not this is the pashtus, the real the reason why the Rabbeinu Tam said that not like the Rogatchover. The Rogatchover says that the reason why we make a bracha only by eating in the sukkah, because there's no mitzvah to sleep in the sukkah. It's only if he's gonna sleep, it's also schutz in sukkah. But according to this biur, no, because the word is that the ikar mitzvah in the sukkah is the achila. The ikar mitzvah is the achila. Okay, you want to pass it to Toby?
Yeah.
We're on page 217. And the far is not given noitik the Tanoim zone gain. Min namdem sein in a Sukkah, kedei as bezei zal sein Sukkah's keva. Weil das hat bezei oivgeton beschleimes durch sehr achille besukkah. With the Gemara that said, they say that that they davened in the morning, and b'shom l'achille v'shtia, and obviously they went to Sukkah. V'zichri d'achille v'shtia given besukkah. There's no question. Even if they ate arai, they were looking at order 2058. It's not mistaber the Tanoim ate even arai chutz l'sukkah. They were bevade mahader, and they ate everything in the sukkah. V'bal, on page 218, the first column, second line. V'bal das achila tut oif the iker yeshiva v'akova v'kviyas in sukkah. Azoi as bazeyot gornet gefelt in kiyum mitzvahs b'sukkahs toishvis. So they were not lacking anything. But so the reason why I'm reading it in Yiddish, I wanted to, because it's, as I said before, it's a nuanced word. And as I said in the introduction, someone asks you, if you're a Lubavitcher, I said, well, why didn't you sleep in the sukkah? Don't bother explaining the Sikha, because splitting hairs, exactly. Don't try to explain the Zichron. But by MS Taket, that's why I made copies to read it inside. What's bothering the Rebbe and the Arifas here is the Rebbe is saying, okay, so it's mitzvah is potem and asuk. But a person that's mitzvah, I can't eat. All he can eat. He goes to his special dietitian and he drinks all these shakes, and that's for breakfast, lunch, and supper. Okay, command Ovid Lo'aminan. He was not Mekayim, the mitzvah of Sukkah. So, l'choyre, even if we say mitzvah potem and Sukkah, l'choyre, the Tanoim that were not sleeping, why? Because they were dancing for 7 days and 7 nights. Okay, very nice. So they did the mitzvah of Simchas Beis HaSheva, B'Shleimus, but they were not Mekayim, mitzvahs, Yeshiva B'Sukkah, Kedeboy. That's what the Rebbe wants to be Machadsh. From Mahor Raya, that the real pshat of why the Rabbeinu Tam said that the bracha is on the achila, not like the Rogatchover, that the real reason is that the Torah said should eat in the sukkah, they should drink in the sukkah, and you should be metayel in the sukkah. And the Torah also said that whatever you do, you should do in the sukkah. But it wasn't because the sleeping in the sukkah we learned from Teishul Kain to do. So therefore, if a person is mitzvah or for whatever reason, mitzvah, if he didn't eat in the sukkah, we're not mekayim. Okay, you're not gonna punish you, but you're not mekayim mitzvah. But if he didn't sleep because he was up for 7 days, 7 nights, he was a mitzvah, whatever it is. So, but he didn't. It wasn't a chesaron in the kiyum a mitzvah sukkah. That's what the Rebbe is trying to be machadish. Al pisa move and eich bin yonenu. As chodsh the toichem pnimim from Chag HaSukkos is meinei the inyan hashina b'sukkah fell klal nita yedei zeh in kiyum mitzvahs yeshiva b'sukkah api alocha. Das api alocha in shena b'sukkah prat and mitzvahs yeshiva b'sukkah is the farvos the Torah is al roiv teda but roiv ne adam zayne nit magish the era makif shebasukkah. But Lepoil, the din in Shulchan Aruch comes out that you have to sleep in the sukkah because most people are not. They don't get very. Most people, the makifim, the bina, don't keep them up by night. What keeps them up by night is all kinds of things, not makifim the bina.
What's that?
The makifim the bina is that we said before that the Mittler Rebbe said that he can't fall asleep in the sukkah because he's engulfed by the light of the sukkah called makifim the bina, and he can't fall asleep. The light is so strong that it's the strongest light that you can't. Yeah, you can't fall asleep.
You can say something else. The Ushp is in there. Cannot sleep
No,
on
he didn't say-
Avinu there.
That's not what he said. Omnam dias bora for nor the pisgam fun kwet kedusha zat moire and zoi dan hoge fun kwet kedusha moire vachome ad moire yechid es gula welcher seine magisch the oira makif shebasuka. These big tzaddikim that feel the oira makif in the sukkah and they can't fall asleep. We say it's mitzvah. And not only that it's mitzvah, but you can say, well, the poil, it's next. So that's the Rebbe's chiddush in the whole sikha, that if a person can't eat, so he's not a bad guy, but the poil didn't do mitzvahs kiyum, mitzvah sukkah. Or a person is not sleeping in the sukkah for a valid reason, it was nothing is missing in this mitzvah. Okay, but still, that's for the mittel Rebbe, not for me and you. Mezet chober dan hoge von kama v'kama euch azelche wo seine noch nicht in der Darge von keinem magisch ein eure Makif shebasukkah seine sich nicht neu zum Hade sein zu schlafen der Sukkah. Koch aber chile v'shtiye seine ze mahader afile b'mokim shein chiyuv. That's bought in the Mepash. Again, it's very important to read it very slowly and carefully. It's interesting. It's a pellet to me what the Rebbe says. Chassidim seine mekusher tzera b'sein nesein lernen toirosam am nas lasas gehen b'derachem im minig Rabbi Seim b'yadeim. Aderech mit der Gemara erzählt, dass Rabbi Achre mahader a trei v'chad. Nehmen hadas, es hat nur Schnee Olam beuket zechen, wo lechet, lamant avoyle v'reche v'la Schneim. The day von Rabbi Kahana. Chotsch, as Rabbi Kahana atzmei, sagt nur a filu trei v'chad, aber talas, v'chad keine kolsch keine kosher. Nur heul v'nofek, mapume der Kahana, is das bei Talmide gewinn an Inje von Hider zu tun, dafke kavasei.
What's the explanation?
The Reb Kahana said that the Gemara says that in order for the dahas to be kosher, there has to be the three leaves come out from one place. You know, people are standing with an esek. Meantime, they pay whatever and they take the adasim, gegangen weiter. At the most, if you're buying by a soicher, that's obviously has to be reliable. But I'm not talking about that. But in by certain soicher and in a certain range, they're all kulam ahovim kulam berurim. There's no chisorin, there's no menuma.
كلهم أوهبين كسر.
Again, exactly. So there's nishtava sakukin, and it's a cash. You don't understand. People look at either. But the adasim dafka, even the ones that come with the hechsher, if you look closely, a lot of them they're not shloishim yotzim ke'echad. It's befedish not that way, and some of them even on the package it says that it's not that way. So it's kedai to look taket. But the Gemara says that Rebbe was a Talmud of Kahana. Kahana said that if two are going ke'echad and one is lower and there's oil beroichev, it's kosher. The Gemara said that Kahana didn't mean that he meant the kolshkein, but if you can get three, is better. But Rebbe Acha's Talmud, when he would go to buy hadassim, he would look to get the crooked ones, to get the one with the two and the one under. Why? Because Hoyel Nofak Mepumader of Kahana, because the Rabbi of Kahana said that this is kosher. So he wanted to prove and show that there's nothing wrong with my Rebbe's Torah. You think it's halfway? I'm coming to shul to show everyone that my hadassim are this is the hadassim. These are my hadassim. So that's the first thing the Rebbe says. Kapela. So Yois, the Rebbe Rashab, I'm sorry, the Rebbe, the Mikkel Rebbe, he couldn't sleep. Yeah? So the Chassidim do the same thing. Then the Rebbe adds, "V'noisav binyaneinu, that nit fieren sich bepoel kanoges Rebbe saying b'chol efsher macht b'zeh hatzat. If I'm not going to do the nogam Rebbe, I'll be b'tzar. So that's already a tzar. You say to Mezu benidin the dam, was der Mittel Rebbe, der inige Mond von Chassidim, wie der Kvoit Chilush der Meire Vacham erzählt in der Sicha, kann nicht schlafen ruhig geheden Sukkah, weil Chodsch der Eura Sukkah ist nicht mehr weil sein Schöne, ist doch aber mit Star davon Gufa. Aber was hält nicht bei der Darge, der Eura Sukkah, weil bei ihm leicht in Kolkach begolui, soll nicht kennen schlafen in Sukkah. Exactly. That's why I said the introduction. Don't try to use this. Someone's arguing about yeshiva. There's other things to say. But don't start getting into this. But this is unbelievable word. The Rebbe saying, Take, he can fall asleep. The makif from the bina, he feels nothing. It's like, it's like machad b'psara meis. He feels nothing. But the Mittel Rebbe really demanded from us Chassidim that they should feel the makif from the bina. And I'm feeling nothing. It's such a tzar. It's a shemtzach. So that's the tzar. I feel ein was im art nicht favos as nicht magisch der ersche besuche is aber sich mit star favos der wort von der mittler Rebbe the nemtelish. Even if he's not bothered why the oire the sukkah doesn't but he's bothering him. How can the mittler Rebbe says that the Chassidim should feel the oira makif to the extent that they can't fall asleep in the sukkah, and I grew up it in the sukkah. I grew up young. Well, how could that be? Mitzad them is the shlofen in the sukkah going to be matzad. He tochen I can't shlofen b'li tzad in sukkah. I'm mitzad potem in a sukkah. This reminds me in the beginning of Elul we were learning the Maimer Anila Doide Vedoide Li. I mentioned it in Shabbos Shuvah that the Alter Rebbe says that a person has to have Rachmanas on his neshama. And you have to have Rachmanas on the neshama. What happens if a person has zero Rachmanas on the neshama? So a person has to have double Rachmanas. It's like the Tzemach Tzedek used to say that there's a certain Yidden, the Gemara says, Osel Arachim Aleim. So it's Chazar Rachmanas. Azayid, the Gemara's auction has Osel Arachim Aleim. Shal Zafar Azar Rachmanas of Azayid. So the Alter Rebbe says that if a person's toe is mechubet to his goof and he bangs his toe, he'll feel a pain. If he doesn't feel a pain, that means that the toe is not connected. It's mamish sakona. So if a person doesn't feel that achmanas in his neshama, El Tishrei, how can I not have Rachmanis on my neshama? So the Rachmanis on me, I don't feel Rachmanis is the biggest Rachmanis in the world. Has to be even a bigger Rachmanis than a regular Rachmanis. I told them the story about a chosser that fainted because he told the Alter Rebbe that he's coming to Yechidus and he's asking for a tshuva, but it doesn't mean it with an emes. He just wanted to see the Alter Rebbe. That itself is not with him until he fainted. The Alter Rebbe said, "Oh, now he came to me this emes." So I think this is like in that style. The Alter Rebbe says, and Mittel Rebbe says that it's a siddur should feel engulfed in the kedusha of the sukkah that it should be impossible that they should fall asleep. It should be mamish. The makif of the bina is like metan stuff and tish. He can't hold this. The skin doesn't stay on him. So the Alter Rebbe said that in one of his things that a lot of the Talmidei Magid they never remember the Torahs of the Magid because the Rebbe used to start dancing. He wasn't mesugal to hear the whole Torah till the end. They used to have such. Some of the Talmidei Magid used to have such, and some used to faint, and some used to like. They couldn't hear the Torah till the end. They couldn't hear the Torah till the end. They were so they felt like the Alter Rebbe says that Akiva is all going in the Demos that they couldn't so the Mittel Rebbe demanded from Chassidim sits in the Sukkah that they should feel Makif from the Bina, and I fall asleep. So I'm tired. It's Azar, Bushe, Vacherpe.
They fall asleep by Yotzer. They fall asleep by the table.
No, but he says it's a Bushe, it's Shemtzach. It's such a Tsar. So Azar Grace Tsar. So Mele is potter from sleeping in the sukkah.
Kishutim. Why Chabad doesn't put Kishutim?
That is a very good question. That is another. I'll glean at between Mincha Maidev on Sukkot. One of the days
I'm not going to be here.
Oh, you're not going to be here. Maybe we'll talk about tomorrow night. Anyway, let's skip to the last piece here. V'hi rotzen, mazal zoicha zayn b'korah mamish, so sukkah zoyre shalav yosen, the mchlovis to this feroise lein sukkah shalamecha, the gila del osid love, v'sam ein lefun is meir in the market the sukkah, the gula amitzvah v'shlema, the mashiach tzedkena b'geira b'meinu mamish.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's it.
How about Hadra Hasidim, bells, and Gera?
I think everyone sleeps. They sleep. They sleep. It's only Chabad. This is for the Mittel Rebbe.
Today
This type of explanation.
It's social. It's the same idea.
Yeah, it's a similar
It's
thing.
not to impress the mensch.
Yeah, it's a similar thing.
It's the same.
It's not exactly.
Similar, yeah. It's not it's a question of mensch. However, because it was applicable to
One of the orders he makes a mention of the that he did in order looking out of 34.
Yeah, he said, Papa sleep in Sukkah. You know what happened? He said, hey, Achi, jump the clock, come. I'm not be good. Like he was sitting in the kitchen.
This is
Sure.
I sent out.
Very sensitive.
Yeah.
Right.